Hey, welcome to our Tuesday night beer school class, starring me, Chad of Chad's Beer Reviews. Only 5 days left till Christmas, but tonight's beer style has nothing to do with Christmas at all. Let's get into the overall impression. A gold-colored German lager with a smooth, malty flavor and a soft, dry finish. Subtle, spicy, floral, or herbal hops and restrained bitterness help keep the balance malty but not sweet, which helps make this beer a refreshing everyday drink. Comments: very fresh examples can have a more prominent malt and hop character that fades over time, as is often noticed in exported beers. Helles in Munich tends to be a lighter version than those outside the city, maybe called Helles lager beer. History: created in Munich in 1894 to compete with pale Pilsner type beers, often first credited as 𝓑𝓏𝓏, more popular in southern Germany. Characteristic ingredients: continental Pilsner malt, traditional German hops, clean German lager yeast. Style comparison: similar in malt balance and bitterness to Munich Dunkel, but less malty-sweet in nature and pale, rather than dark and rich. More body and malt presence than a German Pils, but less crisp and with less hop character throughout. Similar malt profile as a German Helles export beer, also known as a 𝓖𝓾𝓲𝓭𝓮𝓵, but with fewer hops in the balance and slightly less alcohol. Less body and alcohol than a Festbier. Let's take a look at our vitals. So 16 to 22 IBUs, 3 to 5 SRM, so very light colored beer. 4.7 to 5.4 ABV. So fairly light, kind of a table beer, not super strong. Commercial examples. Well, you can see I've got one right on the list there. In fact, this was actually sent to me by their American rep, Paulaner Munich Lager, Original Munich Lager. This is 4.9 ABV, little 11.2 ounce bottle. So I'm going to go get this in the glass and we can get started. All right, so I've got the Paulaner in the glass and I made sure to wash it this time. But we'll talk about appearance in a minute. Let's go right into the aroma. I mean, I could smell it as soon as I pop the cap, and it is just that classic German lager aroma. So just straight up continental Pilsner malt. Yeah. So it has a somewhat similar aroma to a German Pilsner, because you're smelling the Pilsner malt, but the hops are a little less pronounced on this one. So, I mean, it does have the classic noble hops, just a little spicy or herbal, earthy, whatever you want to call it. Just don't call it citrus or pine. It's not American hops. Yeah, so just a clean, slightly sweet, kind of grainy malt sensation, almost like a cereal kind of aroma. Just classic, like, lager beer aroma, but with a little bit of the characteristic or characterful noble hops. Clean fermentation, no green apple, no butter, nothing like that on here. Yeah, so when I think like German lager, like this is exactly. Sorry, we don't have smell-o-vision yet, but this is the aroma of what I think of when I think German lager, at least as far as the aroma. So how should it smell? Let's check the specs. Moderate grainy sweet malt aroma. Yep, that's what I said. Low to moderately low spicy floral herbal hop aroma. Pleasant, clean fermentation profile with malt dominating the balance. I agree. The freshest examples have more of a malty sweet aroma. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's right there. I would have no problem giving this a full 12 out of 12, but it's really rare that I give anything, the full, except for maybe appearance. I don't usually give it the full score right out of the gate. If I feel the need to come back, I would have no trouble bumping that up a point or two. All right, so as far as appearance, actually, I'll put a picture that I took in my new studio photo light box, whatever, right here. So you can see they're calling it gold, and I mean, that is gold. It's straight up like, maybe you call it white gold. Very, very clear. I don't know if I'd go say super crystal clear, brilliant clarity, but very, very clear. Oddly enough, I did not get a whole lot of head on this, and I gave it like a vigorous pour, so I've only gotten about a finger of foam tops, although it is still hanging in there. I had considered using a Pilsner glass, which is a lot narrower, which usually forces a larger foam stand, but it's a good looking beer. Let's see what it should be. Oops. Appearance: pale yellow to pale gold. Yep. Clear. Yep. Persistent, creamy white head. Well, I mean, the head, it's still hanging in there, so I think they hit on all cylinders there. So I'm going to go the full 3 out of 3 on appearance. All right. So, best part of the show. We get to taste it. Prost, as they would say over there. Cheers. Mmm. Man, the Helles Lager and the German Pils are like so close. Really, the only not the only difference, but like one of the major differences is just like the hop intensity. I mean, the ingredients and the fermentation are very very similar. I wish I had like a real brewer on here that could explain it to you, so you can take my word for it. But yeah, as I was saying on the aroma, just a sweet, clean, grainy malt. It's just like if you've ever been to a brewery or a homebrew store and you've actually been able to put your hands into the milled grain that they're going to use or that you're going to use to make beer, that aroma is how this beer tastes. Yeah, it's actually remarkably sweet. I haven't had a Helles Lager in a long time. By the way, you can see the foam is giving a nice lace on the glass. So yeah, I'm glad I went 3 out of 3 on appearance. Yeah, so it is just a lovely, just the sweet grain character. I would not call it like bready, because usually when you get bready on a flavor of beer, it's usually like toasty, Maillard products and stuff like that. That's a different kind of flavor than what I'm getting here. It's just the straight up pale grain, just real faint kilning on this to give it a little bit of color. I mean, this could be like this is a light colored beer, but like Bud Light or something like that is even lighter. I forgot to mention the hops are in there too, so I am getting the classic noble hops. I definitely call it more spicy than anything else. Yeah, so a light spice, kind of like a rye or a peppercorn kind of flavor. But like if the German pills, the intensity's up here as far as the bitterness and flavor. On the Munich Helles, it's down here. I mean, it's not like Bud Light or something where it's not there at all. It's yeah, you can definitely notice it, but it's it's kind of like if a pilsner is an IPA, then the Helles Lager is like a pale ale. Like that's the best analogy or simile that I can think of. So, and I will say personally, this is actually really really tasty. It took me a long time to come around to appreciating these styles of beers, but like once you actually start to learn about beer, how to brew, the styles and everything, and you appreciate what goes into making the beer, is that something like this that would have turned you off when in your beer snob days, like you'll come full circle and be like, wow, it's actually really good. I'm actually disappointed. I only have 11.2 ounces. I want more. All right, so let's check the specs on flavor. Moderately malty sweet with the suggestion of sweetness. Moderately grainy sweet malt flavor with a soft, rounded palate impression, supported by a low to medium low bitterness. Yep, that's pretty much what I just said. Moderately malty start with yeah. See, it says suggestion of sweetness. To me, this is just, it's not suggesting. It's, although it does say moderate grainy sweet. So this is, I think whoever wrote this, they needed to kind of like rewrite this because it's a little confusing because it says suggestion of sweetness and it does say moderate grainy sweet. Yeah. I'm not saying it's like super cloying sweet. It's pretty well attenuated, which would account for the fact that it's only moderately sweet. If it was under attenuated, it would be like just straight up like malt syrup, Soft and dry finish, not crisp, inviting. I agree. Low to moderately low, spicy, floral, herbal hop flavor. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on what your definition of low is. I mean, I guess I would say low. I mean, I notice it because I'm paying attention to it. I mean, to me, it's like maybe if you're like really sensitive to hops or all you're used to drinking is Bud Light, it might seem like a moderate or even high hop flavor on there. But yeah, I'm not sure I would call it low. But okay, yeah. Malt dominates hops in the palate, finish, and aftertaste. Yep, true. The hops should be noticeable. Yes, okay. I should really read before I finish my point. No residual sweetness, simply the impression of maltiness with restrained bitterness, clean fermentation profile. Absolutely. Wow, this exemplified those guidelines exactly. And again, look, I got a few lines of lacing on there. So yeah, again, glad I gave it full 3 out of 3 on appearance. And speaking of which, yeah, this is right there on flavor. Um, I mean, I could go the full 20 on this one. I'm gonna start at 18, and maybe we'll come back to that. All right, so mouthfeel. It's it's fairly light for a lager. I mean, it is only 4.9 ABV, so I'd probably call the mouthfeel probably medium light to maybe just straight up light. It's not quite as light as like Bud Light or something like that, but it's compared to all the ales that I'm so used to drinking, it's quite lighter than that. And even the carbonation on this one is fairly light, which actually kind of accounts for how they said it should not be crisp and something like that. Like the Pilsner is usually pretty effervescent. This is, I'd call it moderate carbonation tops. So, but it is really smooth, easy to drink. And it's definitely, the aftertaste is like more on the malty side. It does not dry me out the way a Pilsner does. 4.9 ABV, technically too big to be a session beer, but I could definitely throw back a few of these in a row. All right, so let's check the specs on mouthfeel. Medium body, medium carbonation, smooth, well lagered character. So they say medium body, and to me this is like medium light. Medium carbonation, yeah. To me it seems a little less than medium on both, although it is smooth, well lagered. So, that probably says more about me than it does about the beer. But yeah, I mean it's right there. So, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Yeah, like I said, I think it is right there. I think it's more me than the styles. But overall impression, this is at least a 9, if not a 10. I mean, the style. This is one of the inspirations for the style guideline. There's really no reason not to give it a full 50. What's my score here? 44. Yeah. So I'm gonna bump up everything a little. I'm gonna bump the aroma up to 11. Keep the appearance at 3. I'm gonna bump the flavor to 19. And does that give us what, 46? Yeah. I can even go 10 out of 10 overall, but yeah, classic example, flawless, wonderful. It's really the only thing that was off on it was like the mouthfeel seemed a little different to me. It's like hang on. Yeah, that seems like medium light body, and again medium light CO2. So yeah, I mean, I would have this would be a great beer to do with another judge, because to me I could give the Paulaner a perfect 50. It's really tasty, and it's there to spec. It really makes me appreciate the underrated Munich Helles lager style. These are actually a little hard to find in the States. Not too many breweries do. I think like the best example is probably 𝓑𝓙𝓒𝓟. By the way, Helles in German has nothing to do with hell, like heaven and hell. It just means bright. And I'm sure it's not even pronounced Helles. It's well, I don't speak German, so I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, if you say something that says Munich Lager on it, I know 𝓑𝓏𝓏𝓮 does one, Spaten does one, 𝓑𝓙𝓒𝓟 does one. All the big all the breweries that do the official 6 Oktoberfest beers, they also do the Munich Helles Lager. I mean, and they're all very, very similar recipes. So, hope you found this class helpful, interesting, educational. Check out some of these books if you're interested in becoming a BJCP judge. These are basically your syllabus right here, especially how to brew. You learn a lot of the 𝓬 and you just have to know a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of microbiology. If you read that book, you should be adequately prepared for the written test. And then the whole part of this is to do the tasting test, which you have to do too. All right. So if you watch all the way in, you're awesome. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews.
Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.